Hi, it's Jane, and it's day 40 of 40 days of tenderness, and I don't know, I kind of usually feel like pressure when things end. Like, I don't want things feeling like they're anticlimactic or there needs to be some big finale. So this morning I woke up kind of still with like residual kind of emotional feelings, and so I did the same thing where I kind of tried to like feel them, but I could tell they kind of weren't moving. And then I keep having dreams where I'm meant to be in water and then I resist it. Like the other day I had a dream that I was my friends wanted me to go into a pool, and instead of, before I went, I kept looking on the ground for pieces of jewelry that were not mine, and then they got mad at me and went ahead. And then yesterday I had a dream where I was wanted to go in the water and I was resisting, and then by the time I finally went in, it was like I was getting covered with mud and dirt instead of water. And yeah, I'm dreaming of boats, and so for me I'm like seeing that as some kind of thing, like there's like emotions that are wanting to be felt, that I'm maybe afraid of, or kind of not surrendering to. A part of me wants to, but so that's kind of just interesting. And so anyway, I was writing about that, and then I received a message from a friend of mine, and she usually doesn't send me messages in the morning, and it was just, it made me feel so good. It was like hearing someone's voice happy in the morning, and she was actually talking about how like my happiness from one of my videos had affected her, and it was just like receiving a gift, you know, in the morning. And so I thought, okay, and even though I had that lift, you know, I could still feel my negativity, and so I was just writing like, okay, today, I don't know how, but I just intend that, you know, I'm gonna receive gifts, and I'm gonna notice them and appreciate them, and yeah. So I was on my way to dance class, and so I've noticed that like I get a lot out of this dance class, but even that I noticed myself resisting, and I was kind of like, oh, when this performance is over, I wonder if I should continue. And it was just weird because I know a part of me loves it, but it's like this pressure all the time, like, oh, I need to practice, and I feel like I don't make time for it, and it's not enjoyable for me to have that stress. Like every time I have classes in the morning, I kind of like, part of me doesn't want to go. Oh, and another interesting part of a dream was that a very close friend of mine, who's all about flow and very gentle, in my dream was like, I'm tired of you saying like, you know, you don't feel like it, or, you know, get your emotions out of the way and just like, you know, pretty much get shit done. Like, I'm tired of hearing excuses. And of course that really hit me. And when I woke up, I wondered, you know, yes, that's a familiar voice in my own head, but I feel like it wouldn't trigger me if I really knew I was doing my best. You know, these questions of like, am I self-sabotaging? Or I feel like there's something there, because yes, I want to honor my feelings and know that, trust that when I feel good, that's the right thing. But I mean, there are also, not everything is about feeling, right? Like, love isn't a feeling as much as it's a truth, and just like doing what's right, you know. So yeah, I mean, sometimes our feelings direct us, but sometimes they can also kind of overpower. So anyway, one of the lessons I've learned through these 40 days is that I can trust my feelings, and that they're always telling me something, and usually it means to pause and feel them. And then once they kind of move through, then from that place, if I ask myself a question, I can trust whatever sensation comes from that place of like, once I'm already peaceful and clear, then if I ask myself something or if I feel a sensation about something, I can trust that. But it's not true that just because I feel bad about something in that moment that it's necessarily a bad thing. And the other thing I learned is that, this thing of taking action and being bold, for me, that often means doing what's bold, meaning what's new and pioneering for me, which is different than what it might look like for other people. So for me, being bold is being consistent, you know? Being bold is having the courage to trust like a discipline, and yeah, just trying something different. Like sticking with something and doing what might look boring is being bold for me. So yeah, as I was driving to dance class, I see my mom walking. Oh, and it was so great because like my dad's always he's always busy on Saturdays. My mom complains about it a lot because she wants him to be at home, and I told you they don't interact that much. And today, for the first time, he said, I'm like, oh, you're not going golfing? He's like, yeah, I just decided to be at home and just like help around the house. And I wanted his help hanging this heavy painting I just framed, The Joy of Life. So it just felt nice. And then yesterday, my mom said all these health issues that she's been dealing with for years, that I've been like, you know, in my own way trying to help her with. And then recently I kind of let go and just trusted that, you know, if I take care of myself, like that's the best I can do. And she said she doesn't know what it is, but her health is improving. So I just felt like, yes, you know, yeah. And then, because my parents' marriage, I've been like trying to help them with that. And I know that's ridiculous, but I have been since probably high school or even younger. So that I actually have learned to let go as much as I have, and just to accept them, and that it actually seems to be shifting is just, yeah, that's incredible. So anyway, my mom was on a walk, and as I was driving, I passed her in this community, and she had mail in her hand, and I just for some reason assumed that there was something for me, and I looked, and I received 2 free books. One was a free book. It was called like Doing What You're Born to Do, by the guy who wrote that guy who's traveled around like every country, and then one was from a friend, and she had told me she was going to send me something, but I forgot, and it's called like The Morning Miracle, and I started reading it, and the concepts aren't that new, but it was just the timing. It was the timing, like the few things about this cleanse that I feel like I didn't kind of get what I wanted, or didn't make the shifts I wanted, was one, my schedule. I was really hoping to like naturally have like tons of energy and wake up at dawn, and but I did have a lot of energy, but I ended up staying up late a lot. So I had a lot of energy, but I wasn't like waking up really early at all, because I was staying up later than I used to, because of this pattern where I would make art or share a video, and then I would feel this like hunger arise for validation or feedback or interaction, and it wouldn't be satisfied, and then I'd, you know, end up like doing random things on the internet, or like binge eating healthy raw vegan food. It was really weird, and I think it was because, you know, emotions were being brought up that to be released, like this old story about not being seen or understood, but I was avoiding feeling them at some unconscious level. So anyway, in that sense, I know I never got to this place where I felt like I was like vibrant and had glowing skin. I felt really light and clear, and like was waking up at dawn, and kind of these are the things I was hoping for. I just wanted to add something. So when I was out in the woods, and I kept noticing like this ants were kind of crawling on me, and I'm not good with bugs, so I don't kill them, but I just like flick them off usually. But I've been more aware now of, you know, all kinds of life, and just making it a practice to kind of see any form of life as equal to me and a person. So instead of kind of giving into my natural like instinct to kind of flick something off that's on me, I just watched it for a while, and like and then I just kind of started talking to it, and then I was noticing how specifically it was moving on me. And it was like I would like lay it on the ground, and then another one would kind of land, and would just be one. They weren't like all over me, but one at a time, and they kept moving towards my fingers and my thumb, like very close to my face and in my direct line of sight. So I'm like, oh right, okay, this is a message. So I know ants are hardworking and all of that, but I looked up the totem, and it was all about community. But what hit me more was the idea of patience and like a daily discipline. And so it just seemed like more affirmation to just go for it, to work hard, you know. And I think what's happened is I naturally have this in me. Like I'm a very tenacious person actually, and I grew up in a really hardworking family. So, and I have that thing of like, you know, wanting to be obedient and be the best. So it's in my nature to work hard and yeah, go for the goals. But again, I've resisted it. So once I started kind of like, I don't know, I feel like looking more deeply at my life and what I wanted, I was like, fuck that, you know. And I think it's just about integration, like coming kind of full circle and embracing something that, but embracing it because it's something I desire, rather than something that I think is good for me, meaning because I'm bad, you know. Rather now it's like it's good for me because I'm good and I want more goodness. So yeah, I think, and I just found out like Mars is retrograde, which, yeah, it's just the time to like look at all the shit and take responsibility for it, and just work at it, you know, like no avoidance, no hoping for some magic thing on the outside, but also being very faithful. It's like being diligent, you know. It's like I'm realizing it requires faith. It's a different kind of faith from like believing in magic, you know, or like the instant thing, which also happens to me like a lot. So it's like, you know, it's worth putting in the time and energy to you know, stay open to those moments. And if they happen like instantaneously sometimes in this like kind of dropping out of the heavens kind of gift way, that's awesome. But if it happens through some in a more organic way, that's really beautiful too. And yeah, it feels good, right, to earn something from this place of, yeah, because you want to see who you are, like what you can bring to the table, not because you don't know you're valuable and you have to work for it. It's just like having the opportunity to show who you really are. And that's much more exciting for me.